All right, guys, here we go. Mexico won, the USA nil in a game that was not unexpected at all for anyone. I think we all kind of knew that was going to happen. Definitely not a, not a blowout for sure, but I also think Mexico played that game at about 80%. So, yeah, it was exactly what I thought we would see. Tough to kind of, well, shit. Peter Parker does not have the link. Let me just send that to him. All right, one sec. I'm going to send this to Filippo, and then he can join us. How is everybody feeling? Let me know how you're feeling after that game, because that was hard to watch, like every game has been for the U.S. in this particular qualifying tournament. All right, sent it off to Filippo. He should get that anytime now. All right. How do you guys feel? Alex Quintana, thanks for subbing, man. Guys, if you haven't already, hit the like button on this. Let's get everybody in here. Let's get talking about the game. There's a ton to talk about. It just feels like more of the same to me from this team. And I said this when the roster was announced. There's no creativity. There's no technical ability. So we set ourselves up probably quite well. We set ourselves up to defend, to deny time and space. But we couldn't even really counter properly because there was nobody who was fast, nobody who was creative, nobody who could even really win 1v1 battles. So why are we not surprised? Look, all that matters was we got out of our group, and now we're in the semifinal. And the next game is what really matters. So Filippo's here.
I made it.
How you feeling? You made it. You gonna be okay?
I'm full of energy.
Good. What are your thoughts about the game so far?
So far, no. The game's over, Pete. The game's over.
I mean, your thoughts so far, just when you kind of like, processing the game in your head.
Yeah, a couple things. I honestly, as weird as it sounds, I was okay with what happened. We lost because of one silly mistake. We held our own. We saw Ochoa knowing how to play dirty again. I love seeing that from our goalkeeper.
I love Ochoa, man.
I was surprised that Jason Kreis got the tactics right for this game, for mostly.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if Mexico took this game seriously.
Yeah. I don't think so. I think they were playing at about 80%. Otherwise, I think if they had to win this game, I think it would have been a lot more. Dude, did you see that moment where Ochoa does the Cruyff turn in his own box under pressure? Like, this is the kind of swag
on the floor.
Yeah, this is the kind of swag we need in our team, man. Like, I'd honestly at this point, I'd have him over Matt Turner in the squad. Like, I'd have him, Horvath, and Steffen with the senior team.
I was saying, they asked me in the stream. My only thing is I want to see him play a little more in the MLS. He's showing that he's the real deal.
Consistency. We need to see consistency. But the thing is, Mexico is going to do an all press to try to get him, for their team. Because they don't really have anybody to replace their other Ochoa. So, we need to make sure he stays with the USA.
It's what we said in the other stream. It's not too crazy to think that in 2026, Ochoa could take Zach Steffen's spot. It's not too crazy.
Yeah, a lot can happen in 6 years, but we won't know it with Ochoa. We know he has a lot of potential. His attitude matters, how he, focuses. If he continues to improve, he can't get too cocky. He can't get too overconfident, which I don't think he will. But I just love his swag on the ball, off the ball. He's always chirping at the opponent, always organizing his own back line. So confident in the air, coming for crosses. Distribution is immaculate. I can't find a weakness,
He has the attitude of a champion in soccer. In the soccer world, that's the attitude of a champion. Forget his talent, just his mentality, the way he plays. That's how you want a winning mentality. That's how you see Brazilians playing, South Americans playing. I'm not gonna say O3 because I can't say they have a winning mentality if they never won anything. But like you can go to the Brazilians, they play like that. They annoy the hell out of the opponent. And Ochoa does that very well. And then you go to all his talent as well, his feet and shot stopping as well.
Yeah, for sure. Look, it's, like I was telling everybody earlier, it was exactly the game that we expected. Lack of creativity, lack of technical ability. We couldn't hold on to the ball, right? We just, every time we had to go forward, we lost possession. Everybody, there wasn't a single player outfield who really impressed me. There were some guys who did okay. But most of all, I just think that this is exactly what we thought it was going to be. A lot of athletes with limited technical ability. And you're going to struggle when you play a team like Mexico who has excellent technical ability. So it is what it is. Let's talk about some questions. Let's take some questions here. A lot of comments. All right, hit me up with some questions, guys.
Pete Pedro Parker. Ochoa
Rookie
for the
mistake
Gold
from
Cup.
Soto. Yeah, I mean, it was a rookie mistake from Soto, but I'm not going to, like, if a center forward is playing at the 6th and gives the ball away, I'm not going to be that surprised, honestly. Like, I'm not going to hold it against him,
Why do you think he was there?
So he's trying to do the thing that they want, the 9 to do, to drop really deep and sort of overload the midfield. We've seen Ferreira do it a couple times, all the way back at the 6. The problem is, if you give it away, then you're in a dangerous position. So it's a risky thing to do, But look, guys, at the end of the day, we have to remember this was Mexico's B+ team, okay? Missing 4 or 5 guys max. This was our D team, at best, our D team. So to lose 1-0 in those circumstances, not that bad, right? This game isn't going to tell us a lot about the future.
Don't you think our B team could beat this Mexico team? Because some L3 fans called me crazy, but our B team would have Brendan Aarson, maybe Tim Weah, maybe Mark McKenzie.
Yeah. I think that could absolutely. This is just a comment. Thank you, S27. Can't create chances. I don't see us qualifying. So all we have to do is win one more game. I can see us qualifying. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion, but I think we should absolutely be able to beat Honduras or Canada, whoever we play. So
I think we're more likely to qualify.
Yeah, I'd say it's about 60-40 to qualify. That would be my odds to qualify. Because, one person can make a dumb mistake and then we can see the stupid goal. A lot depends who we play, too, right? Dylan McCarthy says, who would you rather play, Canada or Honduras? First of all, thank you, S27. I appreciate it. Dylan McCarthy, I think I'd rather play Canada, honestly. I just think that Canada is like us in the sense that they're not very technical. And so it's going to be a little easier for us. But regardless of who we play, we should still expect to qualify with this roster. Ochoa has to start. I hope that the reason he started today was not because they're planning on starting Marcinkowski. Because Marcinkowski might be good, but Ochoa has been the best player in this tournament, and it's not even close. Probably for the semifinal, I would start Sam Vines at left back. I would actually probably start Aaron Herrera at right back. And then I would start Glad with Kessler, even though I think Pineda did fine today. Buchanan is going to be one of if we play Canada, Buchanan's going to be one of their big threats. So Vines is going to have to put him, hold him down. Probably Vines and Georgie at the wings. That's who I would play. Not Vines, I'm sorry. Lewis and Georgie at the wings. What did you think of Tanner Tessman in the midfield when he came on?
Well, he did better than Cardoso.
Yeah, Cardoso has had a tough tournament, and I don't know why. We know he has quality, but he hasn't really showed it,
Yeah, I'm going to try to get a hold of him to actually ask what's going on, because I've seen him playing Internacional, and that's not him.
Yeah.
That's not him.
Sometimes that happens where they just don't have chemistry with their teammates, or maybe he has to play in a system that values technique over athleticism. Sometimes that can affect the player as well. Okay, Lou Kutri, thank you. Is there a coach in the U.S. system who rates tactical ability over athleticism? So I'd say they all rate tactical ability. I think what you mean is technical.
Technical.
Yeah, technical ability. There are some good coaches. Oscar Pareja likes technical players. As you know, he is one guy, for example. Jesse Marsh likes very technical players, although the system that he plays values athleticism very highly too. And so I don't know if we can really say that for sure.
Materazzo plays very fluid too. Materazzo.
Plays very
from
what?
Stuttgart. He plays a very fluid game for
Yeah,
Stuttgart.
for Stuttgart. That's right. Yeah, Pellegrino Matarazzo, good coach. What's his name? Greg Vanney did that well at Toronto, giving technical players a chance. I want to see how he does over at the Galaxy. Okay, so that's important. It's not surprising to me that Jason Christ didn't bring any really strong technical players. No Caden Clark, no Amaya, no Bassett. What did you expect? No, even Eric Williamson would have been better than this, So it sucks. It sucks that they don't see it that way. Thankfully, Berhalter does seem to be selecting more technical players. Not that he has much of a choice because these guys are our best players. So to me, that should be obvious. I think when it's a 50-50, someone like Christ is more likely to lean athletic than technical. And then when it's like so clear that the technical player is better than the athletic one, that's when you see it. But I think you need a balance, right? You need a balance. Like this is why for me playing McKennie, Adams, and Musa in midfield, it's a very athletic midfield. It's not the most technical. It's not the most creative, right? I like having McKennie there. I like having Adams there. Can we insert some creativity into that midfield with Gio Reyna, for example? So it is what it is. I think we all wanted to at least draw that game, but we never looked like we were going to score. Let's be honest, right? Throughout that whole second half, we never looked like we were going to score. So it's something American coaches need to work on. All right.
So, Pete, we hit the goal once in the game, and it was a header on the floor.
Yeah.
That was the only time we tested Jurado, the new goalkeeper.
Yeah, but I'm not surprised at all. Like I'm not even remotely surprised. I don't think anybody is. We saw this team and we knew this was going to struggle. Now all we have to do, guys, is find a way to win on Sunday, and that's it. We qualified, and then half of these guys shouldn't go to the Olympics. Okay. All right. What would be our B team? Okay, let's talk about our under-23 B team. So probably Marcinkowski in goal. If Ochoa is our number one, I would say Marcinkowski would be the B team.
Reggie Cannon
at right back. Probably Sam Vines at left back, realistically.
Or Bello. It's debatable.
Or Bello, yeah. Either Bello. Honestly, I would prefer Bello. If you have to ask me who I would start, I'd probably start Bello. But I'd be fine with Vines. At center back, it would probably be like a Eric Palmer-Brown and Mark. Well, okay, so our starters would be Mark McKenzie and Chris Richards. So take those guys out. It would probably be Miles Robinson and Eric Palmer-Brown. Those would be the
good
B team center backs.
Good
defense right there, okay. And then at the 6, Otasawi. Otasawi would be my B team 6.
At Brendan Harrison.
Or even Yunus Musa. I mean, if Weston McKennie is that 8, then technically you could say Yunus Musa.
Yeah, it depends on if you're going to go with the A squad with Reyna or Tim Weah as the right winger.
Right.
Because if you shift Reyna to the middle, then you're going to have to take Musa out, and then Musa will play in the B squad. But either way, we're going to have Yunus Musa or Tim Weah with us in the B squad.
Yeah. So, but even if we're very generous and we don't bring Musa, okay, or McKennie at that number 8, Brendan Aronson, fine by me. You know what I mean? That's already a huge upgrade to, a lot of these guys. At the 10, even if you took somebody like Caden Clark, for me, would be a good B team 10, Paul McCall if he was not injured. You know what I mean? Paul McCall, Alex Mendez. There's a ton of guys who could play that 10.
Richie Ledesma healthy?
Yeah, healthy. There you go. It'd probably be Ledesma. So if you have Ledesma, Aronson, and Otasawi in that midfield, that's very creative, very technical, Okay, and then on the left wing, Ulianes. Okay, right?
Or Conrad de la Fuente.
On the right wing, Conrad de la Fuente. So now you've got Conrad on the right, Ulianes on the left, and then up top, probably Matthew Hoppy. If Josh Sargent is your first, DK or Hoppy. That team would thrash this Mexico. Well, not thrash them, but I think they would beat this Mexico team for sure.
We would create chances. We would create chances with that team.
100% we would. And we would play interesting, attacking, stylistic football. I'm going to address this one because I hear it way too much. Okay. Tiger Turner. Hey, Tiger. By the way, great Patreon guy. There's no 10 in Greg's system. Guys, systems are flexible. I hate when people say, oh, but there's no 10. there might not be a pure 10 in the way that you think about it, but guess what? You can adjust your system for the players that you have available. I believe, this is my philosophy as a coach, and you tell me what you think. You don't force your players to fit into your preordained system in your head. You look at the players you have available and you ask yourself, what system best suits these players? And so for me, I would play with a pure 10 of Gio Reyna, who, by the way, can also press if you want him to press. And then you have a nice balance of McKennie, who can score goals, who can create interesting passes in attack as well, but he's also very athletic. And then behind them, you have Tyler Adams protecting them. For me, that's the ideal midfield. Greg's probably not going to use it. So, I just don't think we need to be so inflexible with our system and say, oh, there's no 10. There can be a 10. We can play a 4-3-3 with a 10. Absolutely. Don't let Greg tell you this is how we have to play. You can be open-minded enough to say, I don't think so. You know what I mean? Like,
we can easily play a 4-2-3-1 and have McKennie and Adams in the midfield and have Reyna as an attacking midfielder. But
yeah, easily. Here is a great question from Todd Cuddington. Hi, Todd. How are you? And thank you, sir. Would we be better off with Tab running this squad? Well, in my opinion, yes, because Tab showed us at the U20 World Cup that he was willing to give a chance to guys like Yanez, De La Fuente, Pomykal.
Wasn't Pomykal there? Yeah.
Yeah, all these very technical players. And Tab gave him a chance. And what happened? We beat France. Okay? We played, and it wasn't just that we won. It was the way that we played. Our ability, the way we attacked, the creativity. Serginho Dest in the first game made a really bad defensive error, right? For, I think it was Qatar to score. Okay? Most coaches would have been like, whoop, get this guy off the field and put somebody more solid there. Like, maybe Mark McKenzie, which he did play there for one game. But no, Tab said, we believe in Serginho Dest. Let him be free. Let him go forward, attack. And he set up the third winning goal against France with his shot from outside the box. I think Tab would have allowed more freedom, more creativity with this team and would have selected more technical players. But Tab was cut loose after the 2018 cycle. I have it on good authority that Tab wanted Dave Sarakin's job. He wanted the interim job. And Berhalter's brother, Jay, was very specifically did not want Tab to do it because he thought Tab would do too good of a job that it would be too hard to kick him out and hire Greg.
Where is he now? Is he at Houston? He's at Houston.
He's at Houston Dynamo.
Yeah.
So Tab's another guy, by the way, to answer an earlier question, who are some American coaches who value technique? Tab Ramos is one of them, for sure.
We need what me and Pete talk about a lot is if you look at any nation that has won World Cups, they won with technical teams. Never in the World Cup history, an athletic. Obviously, you can talk about France in 2018. They were very athletic, but they were overly technical as well. You can't win with just athletes. And Jason Kreis believes otherwise, and that's the problem. I would much rather have a less athletic team and super technical you can actually win than just full of athletes.
Yeah, 100% agree. Stephanie Perez. Hi, Stephanie. We love it when girls show up on the live stream. There's not enough of them.
Very rare.
Good to see you here. Huh?
Very rare.
Very rare. We have Barbara Spridgen, we have Karen, we have Stephanie, and then we have Mariana Jane. It's like 4 or 5, which is cool.
Well, Mariana Jane is my girlfriend. That's why she shows up. She's forced to.
Oh, there you go. Okay. I can't even get my girlfriend to show up.
Oh, no. But here's just a quick one. Her name is not Mariana Jane. Her name is Mariana. But because of Pedro Parker, they made her change her name to Mariana Jane.
Okay. All right. I'm going to tell Natalie and be like, hey, Filippo's girlfriend shows up in the chat. Why don't you?
You better start showing up.
No. She's German, but she hates soccer. That's another discussion.
Oh, my God. Really?
I know, right? I was like, what is going on with you? All right. Stephanie Perez, is Dest better off on the left or right side? And guys, this is probably a good segue into tomorrow's game. In my opinion, Dest is a right back, not a left back. He can play as a left back in a pinch, but it's not his ideal position. Filippo?
Agree. He's a right back. Being a left back is just something extra in his game. By the way, I don't know if you guys saw today, they released a video of the USMNT's practice, and Serginho Dest was practicing as a left back.
Yeah. I would not be surprised because Reggie Cannon has to leave after the first game. Mm-hmm. So my guess is Reggie Cannon's going to play the first game at right back. Dest is going to play at left back. So let's talk about the lineup for tomorrow. John Brooks also has to leave after the first game, so he's almost certainly going to start. Stefan in goal. I hope Chris Richards starts with John Brooks because we have very few opportunities to see the two of them together. But Richards is now there for both games. So I could see Greg putting Aaron Long or Matt Miazga or, God forbid, not Tim Ream. He won't put Tim Ream because he's another lefty. But yeah, I hope it's Richards. Richards and Brooks need to develop a partnership, and we don't have a lot of time to do it. So probably one of those two. In midfield, my guess is that we're going to see Otasowie, Musa, and Leggett because Berhalter.
You don't think he's going to put Acosta?
God, if we get Leggett and Acosta in midfield, I hope not. I think he's going to go with Otasowie. I really do. I think Otasowie. Remember, Otasowie can still represent England and Nigeria, so he's not exactly like, we need to bring him in and make him feel loved. I hope it's Otasowie. I think Otasowie has a lot to offer as Adams' backup, and I want to see it. So Otasowie, Musa, and Leggett would be my guess. Reina on the right, Pulisic on the left, and then Sargent up top. So that would be my guess for tomorrow's lineup. I would prefer to put Reina there in the middle. But then the problem is who are you going to play on the right wing because Tim Weah is not there. Maybe Joaquin?
Look, one thing to point out, though. Sebastian Leggett starting would not be a shocker, especially Greg Berhalter. Remember, Greg Berhalter always surprises us with something that pisses us off. So expect Acosta or Long to start. Acosta or Long will start.
Acosta or Long? Yeah,
one of them will start just to piss us off. He'll do it.
And then we'll get Tim Ream in the next game. Tim Ream at fullback, at center back.
No,
we couldn't call up Mark McKenzie for some reason.
No, Pete. Tim Ream's gonna play at his best position, which is at the bench. That's his best position.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. All right. Yeah. Look, tomorrow is a morning game for me. It's like 10 a.m. on my time, right? 10 a.m. LA time. What is it? It's like 1 p.m. your time?
1 p.m. here, yeah.
Yeah, so 10 a.m. my time, 1 p.m. your time. It's going to be fun. We're back again tomorrow, so this is going to be awesome. Karen Johnson, another girl. Good to see you here, Karen. I think I missed your comment, so I can't pin it. But you asked, what was the best field player for the under-23s? If you're talking about this roster, good question. Best field player. What do you think, Filippo?
Today, that's what she's asking?
I don't know if she meant today or just in general. You can clarify that if you want, Karen. And guys, go easy on Karen. Don't bully her.
No one really stood out. Honestly, it's going to be a surprise to many, but I think the two center backs, Pineda had a pretty good game, in my opinion. Junior Araujo had a good second half. I think I'm going to go with the center backs. They held their own there. They did well. Oshoa, maybe. Oshoa, too.
Well, she said field player. This is clearly Ochoa. Like, nobody even comes close.
Well, Oshoa is our most technical player, even including field. But
yeah, he could probably play the six.
I would probably go with maybe Pineda today. Yeah,
I'd go with that, which was surprising considering how he performed against Costa Rica. So good for him for bouncing back. Honestly, do we qualify for Olympics? Yes, I think we do. Unless we pull a real boner in this next game, I can see us qualifying for the Olympics. And we should. If we do not, that's a disaster. All right. Yeah, Kessler did good too, Clev. I thought Kessler was okay. He had a few moments, but generally speaking, thought they did okay.
Can we talk about the worst player in the field?
The worst player in midfield?
The worst player in the field.
I think it was either Salcedo or Araujo.
I think Salcedo. Salcedo was the worst one to me. Holds the ball too much, bad passes, crosses are late. Everything
terrible crosses, or doesn't cross at all and then gets knocked off the ball. And he's 24. He's not young, right? He's not 19. Like, here's the thing about Araujo. Araujo didn't have a good game today. but he just turned 20. So you're like, okay, for a defender, that's still very young. He's got room to improve. But if you're 24, you're almost entering your prime, especially as a winger. So there's a reason that Pumas was like, Salcedo, go play with the U20s, you know?
And Pete, that's something else to point out, everyone. The Mexico team we faced, they're all older. They're around 22, 23, most of the players.
23, 24, yeah.
They're older than our team that we face today. They're much older, more experienced.
I mean, Ochoa is 20. You know how young that is for a goalkeeper?
Cardoso's 19.
Cardoso's 19. Araujo just turned 20. You know what I mean? There's a lot of Soto is 20. A lot of our guys, these guys are still eligible for the next Olympics. And that's quite something to think about. Yes, Benji was terrible today too. But Benji, come on. Like, I could tell from the first game, just the way he ran, I was like, how is this guy even a professional football player? Like, he's just awful.
I told you when we were making the video and Benji, and we were talking about predicting who he would cut, when I saw Benji Michel, I'm like, oh, he's going to get cut. He's not making the team. I don't even know why he's here. And he made it somehow.
Yeah. I don't understand it either. Good question from Mohammed Wasi. This is for you, Tak. Go for it.
Brian actually said firsthand. Brian Cleveland actually said that he's firsthand that we neglect our technical players in academies and prop up athletic guys. Have you seen this? Yes, I have. And I even made the infamous tweet I made that the reporter called out, but I'm not going to talk about that. I once tweeted saying that if we keep overhyping players like Daryl DK, which is a super athlete and not as technical, we're never going to have a Ronaldinho, because what happens is the academies here look into the players that sell. So we sell in America athletes. So they're not looking for the technical. They want players that sell. Daryl DK sells. Josie Altidore sells. LeBron James is actually different sport, technical. So yeah, in academies, they'll look for big guys, athletic guys, and they won't look for technical players. And it has happened quite often. I know Pareja is trying to change that in Orlando. He is. And he did change that for FC Dallas, as they are developing players that are a little more technical. But it won't happen until the youth academies here all have futsal. It won't happen. You get technical players from futsal. The two most technical national teams we've ever seen were Spain and Brazil. And guess what? They're the national teams that have more titles in futsal.
Yeah,
there's no secret right there. It's pretty obvious what works, and until we get to that stage, it's going to happen. And yes, U.S. academies do prioritize athletic guys, and we've all seen it. I'm sure if you talk to David Kerr, he might agree as well, even though some change.
Yeah, I think it is starting to change now. Like, if you look at the next crop of young players that are coming through, they're more technical than the current crop, but they're still not technical as like Mexico's level or Brazil's level or anything. You know? All right. Wow. Thank you. AR. Not sure what your name is. Tell me what your name is. Guys, tell me if your YouTube name is like something that's not even a name. Tell me what your name is. I'd like to actually get to know you guys. Ochoa has the highest ceiling in our goalkeeper pool because he has that special general quality about him. Hope he's fast-tracked to the A-team reserves. General Ochoa. I agree. You know, there are some players that you just look at them. And Pulisic had this when he was 17. You just saw him on the field. He was a different class. And it wasn't just what he could do. It was the way he carried himself. It was the things he tried on the field, the swagger, the mentality, the confidence. He just had so much of that, you know? So if we qualify, I don't want to bring another, like, an overage goalkeeper to the Olympics. Let Ochoa do it, man. He did it at the U20 World Cup. We saw him do it again here at this tournament twice. Let him have the Olympics. And then after the Olympics, let him go with the senior team. Even if he's second or third, probably third choice, you know?
I want to take this opportunity, Pete. I want to take it back too, because when we did a video on that, I did say I would bring an overage goalkeeper. I even said Zach Steffen. I honestly, after what I've seen, I take it back. We don't need it.
No, we don't. And it would be a shame if JT Marcinkowski starts that semifinal. It would be stupid. Not because he's no good, but because I don't think you could be better than Ochoa in these two games, you know? So, yeah. Thank you, AR, or whatever your name is. I appreciate that. It's very nice of you. All right, let's talk about – where was this? Somebody wants to know about Andrea Novakovich. I can't remember who it was, but so I think it was Brandon Chung was asking. Here we go. Brandon Chang, I'm sorry. Thoughts on Andrija Novakovic? For me, he's not that good. The guy is 24, 25 years old.
Série B.
Bit of a beanpole. A lot like Peter Crouch, very tall, very skinny, has very average technique, decent finisher, not great. There's a reason he's never really broken through in a big league, like playing in the Italian second division and being okay. He's fine, but we have way better options. I wouldn't put him in our top 5 or 6 options, you know. He's back up there with Haji Wright, maybe Aaron Johansson, in just terms of guys I don't think we really need to be looking at right now, you know. Not good enough. If you're 24, 25 and you still haven't really broken through to a decent level, we've got Sargent and DK and Hoppy and guys at 19, 20 are already playing at those levels. I just don't think you're in consideration. Okay. Good question here from Zizias Gaming. Is college soccer sort of pointless, or should it be like Germany, where it's like a backup academy for people who didn't make their teams but become a second chance? Look, college soccer is not pointless so long as you see it as what it is, which is an athlete's a chance to do athletics while you're in school. If you're talking about college soccer as a development system, then yeah, it is pointless because it's not a development system. So no. Now, some people say, here's the argument for college soccer. Some people will go, Clint Dempsey played college soccer. Yeah. Do you know how much better Clint Dempsey would have been if he spent those 4 years in an academy? He might have been a much, much better player. So just because a good player came out of college, like, it doesn't mean that college is what developed them. College probably held them back. I think Jordan Morris, if he hadn't spent 3 years at Stanford, could have been a way better player. You know?
Well, and Pete, someone commented that Daryl DK proved us wrong. Actually, the complete opposite. Daryl DK proves us right. And I'll tell you why. Daryl DK is actually a good player, yeah, for sure. But he proves us right. Daryl DK lacks what? He's improving it in Barnsley. We've been seeing it. His runs are terrible. His positioning is off. He's just very physical. And his technical ability is not the best. And you know who you can blame for that? The college system. If he didn't play in college, his tactical approach would be a lot better. That's something Oscar Pareja suffered with in Orlando with Daryl DK. It's just because Daryl DK is one of those super talents. He's a
freak athlete.
He's a freak athlete.
He bullies people.
And mentality too. He's very humble, very hardworking as well. So all of that combined, that's how he got where he is. But tactically, he's not good. Watch the game. His positioning is off. Technical ability, not too good. The only thing he's improving in Barnsley is his positioning. He's receiving the ball better. He's showing up for the game better and making better runs instead of staying in lane and not letting the players go through. But that has to do a lot with the league. It's more of the league. I don't like. We'll see. You guys will get a reality shock if he plays the Premier League. You're gonna see, wow, Daryl DK doesn't play anymore if he goes to Premier League.
Yeah. And look, DK is young. He's 20. So he has time to improve and he has time to work on the technical side of his game and the tactical side of his game. He can still get better at both of those things. He could also still be in Qatar. He could be an option. I can see DK as something different off the bench. If you're losing 1-0 and you need a goal and you're going to pump it into the box and you want somebody who can get on the end of crosses, who can bully defenders, who can make his presence felt, I think DK can be that kind of a guy. So to say he still has technical deficiencies doesn't mean we don't think he should be involved with the U.S. I'd rather have him than Zardes. I'd definitely rather have him than Josie. And I'd honestly probably rather have him than Jesus Ferreira too. But for me, I'd rather have both Sargent and Hoppy on the field than Daryl DK. Just my personal opinion. Aaron Torres, thank you, sir. Who should start in the next round? I think we talked about this briefly. Let's give our starting lineup for the semifinal, the all-crucial game. Ochoa in goal, Vines and Herrera at fullback. I'd bring Justin Glad back at center back. I think, I still think he can be effective. He's also taller than both Kessler and Pineda. But I wouldn't be mad if he started Pineda and Kessler again. You know what I mean? Like, of those three, pick two. Central midfield, I'd probably go Perea again, just because I think that protecting of the back line is what you need. I'd probably start Jackson Yule with Hassani Dotson. We don't know if Hassani Dotson, how bad his injury was, right? Like, it looked. Do you think he'll be back for the next game?
He walked off.
We'll see. If not Dotson, I would want to try maybe Tanner Tessman, like a Tessman and Jackson Yule. and then Jonathan Lewis and Georgi Mihailovic on the wings. And then up top, do you want Jesus or do you want Soto? What do you think?
I would actually, because of the way the team plays it. You said Jonathan Lewis and Mihailovic, so they're playing as inverted wingers.
Yeah.
So I would go with Jesus Ferreira so he can pull back.
I'd give Ferreira another chance.
Yeah.
I'd give Ferreira another chance. You know, he missed some bad chances in that first game, and he also didn't play very well in the first half against Dominican Republic. That being said, he has a goal in this tournament, and he plays well within the system. So I'd probably do Ferreira up top as well.
For tactical reasons, Jesus Ferreira.
Yeah. If Hassani Dotson is fit, I would start Dotson with Ewell, though, because Dotson has been impressive so far in terms of his physicality. And if you're going to have Jackson Ewell there, then you need a physical partner next to him. All right. Sudarshan Bagchi. I'm terrible with pronouncing names. Thank you, sir. This is just a donation, not a question. If you have a question for us, put it in the chat. But thank you. I appreciate it. By the way, guys, another quick plug. Filippo has started YouTube memberships, which explain a little bit to everybody what a YouTube membership is.
I'll explain real quick, and hopefully you can start one very soon as well. So YouTube membership, essentially, whenever Pete does, it'll probably be something similar as well. What we did in our channel specifically is we have the tier 1 membership where you get the emojis and the badges, which, to be honest, it's just a membership that's cheap. It's $3. It's to support the channel every month, $3. And then we have the more expensive one, which is $7.99 a month, which comes with member-only polls to help decide on videos, and member-only videos, which in my case, I think Pete could do the same as well since he covers mostly USMNT. On the member-only, I'm going to cover more of a broad video. So maybe the Champions League, maybe the Brazilian League, maybe the Argentine League, maybe Liga MX. So that's something in my channel. Pete might do something similar here. I know you have the Patreon that you might want to tell them as well.
So Patreon, I do basically, you guys know, I've talked about Patreon before. I do extra content. So like after the Caden Clark interview, for example, I put a video on Patreon where I literally broke down with video clips all the things that Caden Clark is good at. And that's what Patreon is good for. I can't put those clips on YouTube. I'll get copyright strikes. But I put them on Vimeo on a private link, and then I put it on Patreon, and people who are on Patreon can watch. And I like breaking down with clips because we can talk about stuff, but now I can show you. But yeah, who knows? In the future, I might do memberships as well. Look, guys, we don't want to put pressure on anybody. We know it's still, pandemic time and people are suffering financially. But if any of you want to support us, or you feel like you get value from what Filippo does or I do, then yeah, check out his membership. Check out my Patreon. It helps to cover some of the, the time that we spend doing this. Although we do it for love because we're passionate about it, it does help. We still have bills to pay. And Mariana Jane is probably expecting a Gucci bag, right, Filippo? Kidding.
We're going to have Orlando City pay for that.
There you go. When my acting career takes off, I'll tell my girlfriend she can have a Gucci bag. Okay, Steele Clausen. Thank you, Steele. Why are U.S. coaches so focused on physical players after all the coverage showing how damaging it's been to the USMNT? I don't know. It's a good question. We've seen it over and over.
I have a lot of answers to that.
Let's hear them.
I have a lot. Well, for starters, a lot of the coaches are not real soccer guys. So, for example, if you go to college, a lot of these guys, they don't know anything about soccer. They just played it. And the problem with America is the main sports in the U.S., let's not count baseball. The main sports are basketball and football. And these are sports where athletes win games. If you're super athletic and you're in the NBA, you can be crap at shooting. You'll still be a great player. Shaquille O'Neal, for example. Same thing with football. Besides the quarterback, the rest is more about being athletic and your ability to catch a ball and hit people. So it's just the culture here. The culture here is always built for athletes. And these athletes are the ones that sell. So they try to implement the same culture in soccer. Unfortunately, soccer is a technical sport. Very comparable maybe to tennis. That's an individual sport, but it's very technical. Doesn't matter how athletic you are. But they came with the same culture they have for these big sports. And you can see that in the MLS. Look at the MLS, the league system they have. They're trying to copy the NBA. So they try to bring that same culture into soccer, and it didn't work. Slowly, people are picking up on it and seeing it doesn't work. But that's the reason. It's very hard to change decades of culture. Very hard.
Yeah. It's like a battleship, right? Turning a battleship around takes forever, right? You trick that rudder, and that's what we're trying to do right now with American soccer culture. We're trying to change the mentality from this sort of kumbaya, yeah, it's all good, we love our team, which we do, but like no accountability, no pressure, let's go hard. This sort of try hard, run fast. That we know where we got this from. We got it from. Yeah,
Pete,
go
do you
ahead.
think also it could have to do that these soccer coaches, since they grew the wrong culture, maybe they don't really know how to develop technical players?
It's possible.
They're learning.
It's possible. It's also a mentality thing. You go to I've done coaching licenses here in the U.S. I'm not saying they emphasize athleticism, but they emphasize a lot of things that cause coaches to lean into athleticism, if that makes sense. You know,
you want me to give you a real example? Do you want a real example?
Yeah, go ahead.
When I went to preseason in college, okay, the first 2 weeks of preseason, we didn't touch the ball. It was all fitness, workout, fitness. So, and then you go to Brazil. When I played younger in Brazil and everything, the academies there in Brazil, when you play, every fitness workout is with the ball. So you're doing a fitness workout. It is a drill and you're getting fit, but it's with the ball. You're getting touches. Everything's with the ball. Everything. Now here in the US, the first 2 weeks, we didn't touch a ball. What is this? A track team or a soccer team? So that's a real life 100%. Example. I'm not making this up. This was my experience.
Yeah. And in Europe, for example, when I was doing my degree there, coaching, they talked about, we had the fitness coach come in, and the fitness coach was talking about, 4 minutes of work, 1 minute of rest in order to build up preseason fitness. But that 4 minutes of work was playing 3v3. Okay. And every time the ball went off the field, they didn't go get the ball. The coach kicked a new ball in. And it was just about fitness. But all that fitness was with the ball because it's soccer specific fitness. Explosive, high intensity with the ball, combining multilateral movements with technical ability. Steel Clausen, there are a lot of coaches now who are changing that mentality. A lot of them working at the academy level. For example, LAFC, they always have the ball. I've watched their training, even the academy levels. They're going to start developing some good players. There are clubs doing it. Dallas, Philly, more so than ever, right? And it is starting to change. But again, it's the battleship. It takes forever to turn a culture around. And hopefully, Filippo and I calling this out from time to time helps in a small way to help change that culture a little bit, But there are a lot of people in the country doing really good work, and that's why we're starting to see better players developed. Let's talk about John Johnson takes on Christ so far. Christ's mistakes have not come during the tournament. They came when he picked his roster. That's where Christ's mostly his mistakes have come. Like with the players he had, he's done what you expect someone to do with these players. So it didn't really surprise me. That being said, he should have picked some more technical, creative players. That's my take. What's your take, Filippo?
It's the exact same. And even today, I complimented Jason Christ. I think the way the team worked tactically was perfect. But you don't create chances. They don't shoot on goal. There's no creativity.
Yeah, because there's no creative players. So you don't bring creative players, you're not going to create very many chances. Okay.
But yeah, it's pretty much what you said is everything. It's not about the field. The team tactically has been good. I don't against Costa Rica, we seemed a little off, but it was the first game. The other two games tactically, we've been pretty good. It's just the players that are not the right players.
Yeah. Yeah. And next time we'll learn, hopefully. But we keep saying
if you want to, I can address Cardoso because I see a lot of Cardoso here.
Okay. Yeah, talk about Cardoso.
So I saw a lot of Cardoso saying, why is he not technical? He's from Brazil. You said he was creative or something. So listen, Cardoso is actually very technical, and he is probably the most technical player of this team. But you got to understand, first thing, he's not used to playing with all this running. Not that they don't run in Brazil, but with all these athletes and the ball, the passes are not the best here. Positioning, it's not as fluid as a Brazilian game. God, if Cardoso played for the Mexican squad, he would have looked better. So maybe he just doesn't fit with these specific players. Cardoso, when he played the friendlies with the senior squad in October, he looked a lot better because he had technical players around him. So it's more about the system he's in. He's actually technical. He's actually fairly creative. Before he came to the USMNT, he was scoring goals and getting assists for Internacional. So It's more about the system. He's also playing in the altitude. That could be a problem. I don't want to make excuses, but don't count Cardoso out. He is a technical player, and he's playing for Internacional, which was the second best team in the Brazilian league last year. So,
yeah. Here's a great one. This is a comment that I 100% agree with. You can be athletic and technical. Of course you can, guys. And don't get me wrong. We want all our players to be athletic, okay? But you do not sacrifice technique for athleticism. Look at Kylian Mbappe. He's a guy supremely technical, supremely athletic. If you have both and you have game intelligence, soccer smart, the way you see the game, read the game, boom, the sky's the limit for you.
2018 France. 2018 France.
Sorry.
2018 France. Super athletic, super technical.
Super athletic, super technical. That is what the U.S. should aim to be. We're not bashing athleticism. We're not bashing athleticism. We're bashing athleticism in place of technique. We want both, right? If Daryl DK can improve his technique, he's going to be a beast, right? He's already a beast, but he's going to be even more effective. He's going to be like Lukaku, right? If he ever gets to that level. So yeah, we 100% we want athleticism. The ideal player is athletic, technical, and intelligent, right? All three of those things. That being said, I would prefer a technical player who's not athletic to an athletic player who's not technical. That's just my personal.
But we always aim for both, obviously. We always aim for
both. Yeah, 100%. I mean, look at Weston McKennie. Very technical, very athletic. Pulisic, even though he looks small, his explosiveness, that's athleticism, right? Let's talk about, let's see. What time is it? Oh, we got some time. Do you feel these friendlies are a good match for the U.S.? Who would you want them to play? So Jamaica and Northern Ireland are probably decent in terms of where we're at right now. We had no way of knowing that Jamaica wasn't going to bring all their good players, Ivan Toney, Michael Antonio, the winger, whatever his name is, plays in Germany. Bailey Leon. So it isn't a great team. But right now, these friendlies is about getting familiarity with our own players, regardless of the opponent, playing together within a system. That's really the key. Would I like to face some better teams? Maybe. But right now, I just think the focus is them playing together, And then again, we're going to play Switzerland before the Nations League. Then we're going to have Honduras. And then if we beat Honduras, probably Mexico. So.
And Pete, Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland is pretty much a championship team. They're all championship players from the English Championship. So they're going to be a very physical team that we're going to face. And for CONCACAF standards, that's kind of like what you want to get used to.
Yeah. No, exactly. You want to, we're going to be physically tested. But look at, if you have technique, you can go around the physical very easily. Here's a good one from Juvenal Salazar. Do you think MLS teams in San Diego and Phoenix will benefit scouting for USMNT substantially? I believe those cities are super soccer hotbeds. Not specifically. I think all cities need to have a soccer team. San Diego has one. It's Landon's team, the San Diego Surf, I think they're called. Or the Loyal, I'm sorry, San Diego Loyal. And then Phoenix has a team too, Phoenix Rising. You don't have to be an MLS to have an academy and scout young players and develop them, right? So, yeah, it would be nice because I think those are two big cities, but you don't have to have an MLS team. You can have, USL teams and develop players. All right. What else? Should we start friendlies against decent teams in worldwide? For example, Turkey, Croatia, Russia. Yes, I would like to play teams like that. However, I think U.S. soccer, with COVID, there's a lot of restrictions on playing right now. So I think USSF did their best to get the teams that they got. And I'm fine with Switzerland in June, for example. And then after that, it doesn't matter. After that, focus on qualifying. Once you qualify for the World Cup, then we should schedule some friendlies against top teams because that's what you're going to face at the World Cup. Then you want to play European teams. Then you want to play South American teams. Right now, focus on getting through CONCACAF. I'm fine with the friendlies we have right now, guys. My Latin Soccer, NYCFC. I'm not sure what that means.
Oh,
Are you just an
I
NYCFC
know what
fan?
it means. I know what it means. He came
What does
into
it
my
mean?
channel. The first time he came to my channel was in Orlando City, New York City FC stream. He's a New York City FC fan.
Oh, okay. He's an NYCFC guy. So you're
Yeah.
just tipping us to well, thank you.
Okay,
My
I'll
Latin
tell you.
Soccer.
Let me tell you one thing about My Latin Soccer. I don't have my phone with me. So the live stream we were at today, I scheduled it a week ago. He donated $4 to it before the stream started.
What a
Like
nice
2
guy.
days ago. Yeah.
That's very nice of him. What's your name, my lad? Does he have a name?
He never told me.
Never told us. Tell us your name. Okay. Thank you, though. Appreciate your donation. That's very nice of you. Mapled. How you doing, sir? You must be very happy to see Hassani Dotson's performance. He's been one of the surprises of the tournament. He's not, he's not a guy who's going to be creative necessarily, but he's used his athleticism well. And honestly, he's been very intelligent when he's had the ball in terms of his decision making. So let's answer Mapled's question. Can you ever see MLS split into two different leagues due to the amount of new teams joining? Maybe. It'll sort of be a faux relegation promotion thing. I don't know if a lot of teams will like that, though. I think more likely than split into two leagues, they'll just have conferences like you'll see in baseball.
It's already split. It's already split into two conferences.
But he means two divisions where you only play the guys in your division. Yeah, like two separate leagues. That's not how American sports work, so I honestly don't think so. I would like to see it, even if it's not perfect pro rel. It's a version of pro rel, so I'd like to see it, but I don't think it's going to happen. Okay, I did the Jamaica lineup already, guys. Like a lot of the questions, if you ask twice, I'm not going to answer it again. 5 years. Here's a good one from Owen Jones. 5 years from now, who's our starting right wing? That's a good question. Good question. Who do you think it is, Filippo?
Well, if we project it right now, I would say Tim Weah, but we can't really count on that. We can see how Conrad de la Fuente will develop. Could be Pulisic. Could be Pulisic the right wing.
5 years is a long, long time in soccer. Like long time, especially with the amount of young players we're currently producing.
I'll tell you one thing. I think it won't be Reina.
I don't think so either. I think he's going to end up in the middle. I think Conrad could be our right wing in 5 years, easily. Saleha Nuri. Can you guys pull highlights and analyze, or are there DMCA restrictions on such stuff posted to YouTube already? Yeah, we can't do highlights because we'll get copyright strikes. It's other people's content. Even if we use it and say, oh, no, we're, fair, there's laws. Like, there are certain laws you can kind of get away with, but it's not worth it. You get 3 copyright strikes, and they take your channel away. So all the hard work would be down the tubes. That being said, on Patreon, I do it. And on Patreon, I can get away with it. So if you want to see more individual player clips and highlights and tactical analysis with clips from the game, come check out 11 Yanks Patreon, because I am able to do it there. All right. Who do you think our future center backs will be by striking Blazer? I think that Richards and Brooks, if you project very far into the future, I say Richards and McKenzie. Both young, both high ceilings, both very good on the ball. But who knows? Maybe Antonio Leone could really develop. We'll see. Who do you think?
Or players we don't know yet.
Yeah. I mean, guys, look, 5 years ago, nobody even knew who Pulisic was. Like, that's how, like, you know what I mean? 5 years ago, Pulisic was 16, just at Dortmund, hadn't really broken through yet. Like, that's
Reina, Weah, Richards, Dest. No one knew 5 years ago who they were.
You guys want to hear something cool about Reina? About 2.5 years ago, Reina got a Nike ad, right? When he was just 15, 16, like a sponsorship deal with Nike, and they did a commercial with him. I got called in to be in the commercial, to audition for the commercial, to be his body double. So all they wanted was to see our tricks on the ball, okay? They wanted to see our skill with the ball at our feet, because we were going to basically, when they were filming Gio Reyna's feet and like legs doing stuff with the ball, it wasn't going to be Reina. It was going to be an actor. So it was me and like 30 other guys, and we were literally all just in the lobby, like practicing our tricks on the ball. I did not get selected. There were some guys who were really good there. Also, my legs are not as scrawny as Gio Reyna's were when he was 15, so I'm not surprised.
But they were already talking about Reyna there? It was about Reyna.
They weren't really talking about him, but Nike had invested in him already because I think they knew he was going to be a star. He was in the NYCFC Academy at that time.
And his dad,
here's a good
too.
one from Isaiah. What is your ideal landing spot for Hoppy? I think if he gets service, he will be a dangerous player. I agree. A lot of people are saying this superficial analysis, Hoppy doesn't score. Schalke doesn't give Hoppy chances to score. And usually when he gets chances, he scores. So
Pete, last game, he played 76 minutes. He had only 16 touches. The ball doesn't get there.
Yeah, they can't even give him the ball. It's like Sargent, but worse. We need, and he's not like Sargent. He's closer to a Sebastian Soto in terms of being a poacher. No, Hoppy's technique is not bad. He's just not a hold-up player, guys. A lot of people think, oh, yes, he can improve technically, but I don't think his technique is terrible. I just think he's a different kind of player than Sargent or DK.
And
how do you?
They were saying today that they were just to debunk this. They were saying that Bayern Munich is close to signing Hoppy. Just to make one thing clear, I can't say the sources or anything, but it's a lie. Okay, it's not true. I can guarantee you guys it's a lie.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard it was a lie as well from a different. It might be the same source, but
it might be the same source. But I heard it was. I can confirm it's a lie.
I heard that it was basically one guy talking about how maybe Bayern should go after Hoppy, but it wasn't a report saying that that they actually want him. Okay. How do you think Pulisic will do tomorrow? I hope he does really well. This is a chance to rebuild some of his confidence, but I have no way of knowing, honestly. Who do you think our backup six is? Yule, unimpressive. Cardoso, clearly not it. Perea, Sands need a chance. Odasawi, I'd say Odasawi right now. I want to see him tomorrow. By the way, we'll be right back here in like literally a couple hours.
Yeah, it's true. For the You're going to sleep, wake up, and
we're right into soccer. Let me see.
Pete, I think they're going to get tired of us on Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday we've got two. So it's Northern Ireland in the morning and then the semifinal in the afternoon, right?
Yeah.
All right. This is good from Moonlight Chasers. Talk about Bento Estrella from Red Bull, one of the youngest pros ever. If you watched my David Kerr video, or David Kerr, he was very, very high on Bento Estrella. I have not seen Bento Estrella play, so I don't want to comment on him because then I'm just an Alexi Lalas talking about what things I don't know that I'm talking about. I haven't seen him play, but I trust David Kerr, and if David Kerr says he's got a very high ceiling, I believe it. So, by the way, guys, if you haven't checked out that video, go check it out. It's a great video. Last question of the night. I will pick one question, and then we're going to call it off. It's been a full hour, and Filippo's been at this for almost 4 hours, so he needs a break. And
I came from work from coaching.
Here's a good one. Michael Harris, what are your thoughts on the best development route from MLS to Europe? Move ASAP like Richards, Weston, and Reyna, or get experience in MLS, then move like Adam, Davies, and Stefan. There's no one-size-fits-all development path, right? You have to find the path that works for you. If you have elite potential, like a Pulisic or a Reyna, try to get to Europe as early as you can, okay? But you also have to have a European passport. If you don't have a European passport, honestly, MLS is doing a great job of giving young players a chance and then selling them after a year or two or three. That's a perfectly fine way for me. Reggie Cannon, Tyler Adams, Brian Reynolds, Mark McKenzie, Brendan Aronson, even Zach Steffen. That's the other way, right? We talk about Chris Gloucester now coming back to MLS after struggling in Europe. Great. You still have a place to play for professionally. And then maybe you improve 2-3 years down the line, you can go back to Europe. That's what Zach Steffen did, right? Struggled at Germany, came back to the Crew. Now he's in Manchester City. So there's no one size fits all. Cameron Harper is now a Red Bull. We're seeing this a couple different ways. There's no one size fits all, guys.
You can add Brazil to that. You can add Brazil to that, Pete, as well. You can look at Brazil. Some players from Brazil, and we can talk about elite players, they leave very early. Some leave very late. If you guys don't know, Neymar left kind of late, for example, and it worked for him. And yeah, Brazil is weaker than the top 5 league. But then you have players like Gabriel Jesus that left when he was 19 only. They did just fine as well. So Felipe Coutinho, he signed with Inter Milan when he was 16, I think. Felipe Coutinho. And he struggled in the beginning and he broke out later. There's no secret formula there. It's all about more of the player. If the player's talented and hardworking, he'll develop anywhere. It might take a while, might be fat, but he'll develop anywhere.
Yeah, 100%. Guys, this was awesome. Look, not the greatest day, not unexpected though. Now it's all about Sunday. Well, tomorrow. It's all about tomorrow. Our senior team, the real USA, not this fake USMNT. The real USMNT plays tomorrow. That's going to be super awesome. We will see you guys in less than 12 hours. We're going to go rest now, rest our voices. Thanks for hanging with us, guys. Everybody who put tips in the chat, we appreciate you more than we can say. If you haven't already, guys, check out Filippo's channel, Tactical Manager. You know him. Go hit subscribe. We will talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourselves and have a great night.